Hello everybody, this is Llodg, and today I'm talking about the demo for Stellar Blade, which is available to download for free on the PlayStation 5 store. So if you want to try out this game before you buy it, this demo is freely available. So with that, let's get into the demo. The demo starts out with a scene that really reminds me of Xenoblade Chronicles X, with some ships entering into the planet's atmosphere and getting attacked. The ships that are not utterly destroyed launch some drop pods onto the planet's surface. However, it isn't an easy insertion as many drop pods are destroyed or damaged. Our drop pod makes it onto the surface, however the hatch doesn't seem to open. Thankfully, someone is able to rip the door open from the outside. Taki. Taki helps us out of the pod, and hey, our outfit even changes. And here we finally have control of Eve. We start to make our way towards all the destruction and even get our first taste of combat. The game is a character action game, so you're able to do many different attacks, dodge, and even parry enemy attacks. And yeah, almost all the enemies are these gross looking things, I don't even know how to describe them, but their designs are interesting to say the least. And when you are damaged, you can also use potions to up your HP. There are a lot of other items you'll be able to get throughout the game, but since this is the demo, your potions will do just fine. We finally make it to the rendezvous point and see many others just like us fighting a giant thing that seems to maybe be an Alpha Naytiba. It's so strong that I was even able to survive a whole ship crashing onto it. And here we have our first boss fight. As the only two left, Taki and Eve have to stop this thing, and it's honestly a pretty hard fight, at least compared to the regular enemies we are just facing. Unlike some other character action games, the boss's moves aren't telegraphed as attacks in other games like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry. It's not impossible or anything, just took a little bit of getting used to for me personally. Anyway, with Taki's help, we defeat him. Eve has some damage to her body frame, and then a real Alpha Naytiba comes down and attacks us.
Here, friend. It's me you want.
Taki sacrificed herself to save us, and before we can see what happens next, we get a title splash. Then we cut to an abandoned city, and Eve is talking with a new person, Adam, who will be talking with us through this robot drone thing. Anyway, we are here in the city for some reason and go off and explore. It's mostly just us running around fighting enemies, and there are a lot of different ones to fight. Some even have a shield that were so difficult for me to fight for some reason. Once you defeat an enemy, you can pick up the items that they drop. For some reason, the default setting is that you need to press R2 to pick them up, which is really weird to me, but I found out later in the settings you can have it auto-loot the items. I'm not sure why they needed a setting for that. I would have just made it always auto-loot the items. There are also some items that we need to find codes for, and it's pretty interesting. I don't know why, but it stood out to me since you actually have to put in the code once you find it. For some reason, you couldn't even try to put in a code before you find the actual code, and then you have to press a hint button to see the code while typing it in. And I don't know why, but that's just a little weird to me. As you're exploring, you can even perform sneak attacks on enemies and find invisible ones. I'm glad they're making sure that both approaching enemies and how you fight them have a lot of options when approaching them, especially since a lot of the game is just going to be focused on the combat. Also, this combat is once again difficult. I even died a couple times to regular enemies. I know I compared it to Bayonetta and Devil May Cry for how it approaches its bosses, but this game is a lot more like Sekiro. At least that's what a friend told me since I haven't played Sekiro yet, but it definitely feels like that kind of game. It feels really nice to figure out an enemy's moveset and beat them. You can even find campsites to replenish both your health and potions, as well as unlock different skills in the skill trees. There seems to be a ton of skills to unlock, which will hopefully allow for the game to feel even better the more you progress. Once you get to a certain camp in a parking garage, you get some flashes and see that this guy saved you back when Taki died, and learn that Eve and Adam are working together to find the Alpha Naytiba. Once we reach the top of the parking garage, we find...
That's not an ordinary enemy!
Adam, get back!
Yep, it's another boss, and despite struggling with it at the start, I was able to beat it. Then we get a quick trailer that shows what the full game has in store, which is mostly just a bunch of cool bosses that I'm sure will be really difficult to fight. However, the demo isn't quite over yet, as there's an optional boss challenge for you to do. And this one is really difficult. It took me so many tries to actually finally beat him, but I am proud to say that I did end up beating him. Also, in this challenge you can change Eve's outfit, which I really like. I believe the full game will have a variety of outfits for you to wear, some even giving you some benefits gameplay wise. For this fight I stuck with the Racer's high outfit and even gave Eve some glasses. In the settings there's also an option to change Eve's ponytail to a short one. I really like customization in games, and this one seems to have a lot in it. But yeah, the combat in this game seems to be some of my favorite combat in any game I've played in a while. It feels so nice to parry, and when you do it properly, it even plays a sound on your controller, and it's some of the best integration of that feature I've seen. Bosses are difficult but seem to be fair. I know I compared this game to Sekiro, but unlike Dark Souls bosses, I actually was able to do some decent damage to them on my first attempt. I really can't wait to see how fun the gameplay is once you unlock more skills. The few that you could mess around with in the demo were so fun. In the boss challenge, you even have access to 4 beta skills, which are special skills that will become available to use when you parry. There are also a bunch of small quicktime events. Luckily none of them seem to be as bad as Bayonetta 1's, but I certainly wouldn't miss them if they weren't here. I know Stellar Blade has been compared to Nier Automata, with its action combat system and the design of its main character, but this game definitely feels very different to Automata, at least from a gameplay standpoint, but I do see similarities, like the overall setting, camps being a thing, and even an army of woman androids. They even share having a very good opening. In fact, it's so good that I hope Stellar Blade has more sequences like this opening. I'm also hoping that the story picks up a bit, as it didn't seem overly interesting in the demo after the opening, but I'd be fine with a fun game with a serviceable story. I really enjoyed the music of this game. The battle tracks were amazing and made fighting bosses even better. Even the music while running around the world was good. I also found the voice acting to be good. Nothing that totally blew me away. I mean, it's the start of the game, there wasn't much time to blow me away. But I thought they did a good job from what I've heard. The sound effects are also good. Like I said, the parry sound was very good. Even this explosion sounds amazing. The game also looks amazing. I mean, it's a PS5 exclusive, you'd expect it to look good, but I just love how this game looks. The characters, the world is Naytiba. Okay, other than a couple exceptions, I didn't love the enemy designs. They look pretty gross to say the least, but I also don't really mind if they look gross. I mean, at the end of the day, they are enemies you fight and all. I do have a small pet peeve about this game, and it's when you die, Eve doesn't fall over or have any sort of death animation. She just stands there while the game fades to black. They don't need an animation for when you die, but to me, it just feels weird to not have Eve do something. Again, not a big deal, but it's just so weird. And yeah, Stellar Blade seems to be a really fun game that's going to be challenging. I am hoping there are more sections like the opening. It was so good, but even if it's just walking around in this deserted city fighting bosses, I bet it'll be a blast. I'm sorry this video took a while to come out. I recorded this demo back in May, and just have had a lot to do outside of making videos. But I wanted to talk about this game so bad that I'm still making this video, even though the game is already out. Let me know what you think of Stellar Blade, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day, and goodbye!